Welcome to our webinar sessions. This is the Local Leadership Academy webinar. This is the quarterly webinar that is led by GNDR member together with the secretariat, where we aim to share expertise, experience amongst our members. Especially in this webinar, we will have sessions where we want to learn good practices and experience in addressing the impact of climate change through locally led resilience infrastructure. So for today's webinar, we will have some speaker. The first one we will have Fleur Monaso from the RCRC Climate Center. So Fleur Monaso works at the Red Crescent's Climate Center and has 2 decades of experience on resilience and adaptations. She also studied international relations at the University of Amsterdam and currently is leading the Climate Center work on locally led adaptations. And later, Fleur will give us a context setting on the locally led adaptations in DRR, especially in the resilience infrastructures at local level. And then we will also have our speaker from the Philippines, Nikita Panas from ECOWEB Philippines, where she will share her work on renewable energy powered fiber processing and solar drying facilities that are community owned and managed. And we also have a speaker from Indonesia, Nanda Anissa from YAKKUM Emergency Unit Indonesia, that will share her experience with smart mist irrigations with rainwater harvesting. We will also hear good practices on community-led latrine for waterlogged areas from Nasiruddin of Islamic Relief Bangladesh. We also have a speaker from Mujtaba Muhib from CWS Asia on increasing underground water retentions. And the last speaker would be Sochit Sao from LEARN Cambodia that will share practices on solar energy solutions for resilient livelihood. So we will have the presentations in the beginning and followed by Q&A after all speakers presented their practices, their presentations. Yeah, you can also post your burning questions on the chat box, on the Q&A box, or you can write your answer there. But later we will also provide opportunity for Q&A where we will ask members to open their mic to ask questions directly to the speakers. Okay, so yeah, we now have 5 minutes past, so we can start the sessions today. Yeah, so if now can I invite Fleur Monaso to give us the context on the locally led adaptations? Yeah, Fleur, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Happy. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. Greetings from very rainy Amsterdam. I will share my screen with you. Thanks for this opportunity to explain a little bit how the Red Cross and Red Crescent Network has started working on locally led adaptation. So for us, it was really shifting that community-based disaster risk reduction towards locally led adaptation. How do you operationalize these principles of locally led adaptation? How do you include and that shift? How do you facilitate that at the local level? So a few of our experience. First, a very brief reflection on what locally led adaptation is. Maybe this is very well known in this group already, so I'll go through a little bit quickly. but locally led adaptation recognizes the value of local knowledge and traditional knowledge, and especially knowledge around early warnings and weather warnings. So it's really building on that knowledge and that expertise that's already on the ground to address climate risks, and to also embed these changing climate risks in that with scientific knowledge. Then locally led adaptation ensures that local actors have equitable access to power and resources to design their adaptation solutions. This is really about within the disaster risk reduction and adaptation, bringing equal voices to the table and embedding solutions from all different angles, including marginalized groups, to the table to ensure that everyone can prepare for an agile future. So then locally led adaptation establishes agency and not just participation or inclusion at the community level. To illustrate this and how it was received at the community level, I lifted two quotes that I think illustrate this very well. The first reaction that we got locally in Malawi, that somebody from the local authority said, it's interesting how locally led adaptation seems to have more respect for local knowledge in relation to forecasts and warnings that's often dismissed as superstition. So that was their previous experience. And then also we're seeing something very different happening right now. Also the same in Malawi, in the Sanje district. Before we just received a project, but now the Red Cross asks us what we need and where we think the solutions are. So just to illustrate that these principles, if you shape the process slightly different and really help to facilitate that these principles can be embedded in the way you roll out the process at the community level to both assess risk, discuss risk, design solutions, evaluate solutions, that it really, really changes something for communities in the way they experience the whole project. So it's around devolved decision making to the lowest appropriate level. This is just a repetition. Maybe Happy, tell me if I need to move quickly on this one, if this is well known. But it's about addressing structural inequalities. It's providing that patient and predictable funding, and that it's about investing in local capabilities, a lot of capacity strengthening at all levels, both institutional levels and then all the way at communities. It's about building that robust understanding of climate risks and uncertainty. It's about flexible programming and learning together. It's about transparency and talking about the budget availability and making the decision, around all the budgets, placing that in the hands of the communities. It's about collaborative action and investment. So maybe well known, the way we try and give hands and feet to this is also to think about how we engage with it at that community level, where initially it might have been more about informing that particular community may have received early warnings, but that is just information reaching them. So we see it a little bit as a ladder, that we try and invest our approaches more around getting all the way to the right side, but slowly. So consultation, involvement, collaboration, and ultimately empower. That's where we want to go. And I think we've seen that shift somewhere. I think we're not always at the full empowerment level. We might sometimes be more in the collaborative mode still, where still the National Society, the Red Cross National Society, together with the community, decide on the plan and the budget together. But we're trying to move that away, really, to see if we ultimately can work with community groups who own the plan and manage that project. So in order to get there, we needed a methodology, because we believe adaptation is a very complex thing by itself. And locally led, even, that additional tweak is on top of that complexity. So what we thought about was, for the national Red Cross and Red Crescent societies that we work with, we worked with 3 pilot national Red Cross and Red Crescent societies in Pakistan, in Malawi, and in Nigeria. And then others followed swiftly. So over 40 countries we've been working with on this climate action journey towards locally led adaptation as the methodology. It's more of a holistic package that can help it. We broke it down in steps, but ultimately the process is really what makes the difference if we take these steps. And in the next slide, I will show you what these steps look like, but just a heads up, right now, all of these enablers and the process is listed at the bottom as if they are footnotes. But ultimately, we want to change this figure so that they're much more prominent and it's much more circular. This is our current climate action journey. So again, the basics, the things that turn this into a success are those enablers, the basic principles. Everything in the blue at the bottom of this screen, which ranges from the institutional buy-in, the leadership buy-in, the necessary resources and awareness about conducting this journey together within a national Red Cross society, the capacity building processes, and then of course, learning evaluation and working with climate information across timescales. I'll say a little bit more about that later. But the steps jump out on top, and all the way at the left, we want to start with a national climate risk assessment. We want to make sure that the Red Cross in the country fully understands the implications of the climate crisis in their country, how it affects different vulnerable groups, how it affects different geographical areas, and how it affects the work across the entire organization. So the Red Cross is well known for disaster response very often, bringing the emergency support after a disaster occurred. But we also have a lot of work on health, disaster risk reduction, resilience, and water and sanitation and shelter. So what we want is that the implications of the climate crisis upon the entire breadth of work of a Red Cross society in a country is well understood across these different departments. So we bring together a working group that puts in members from all of these different departments so that each and every department thinks for themselves how climate is jeopardizing their work. So, and how it's affecting and changing the way we need to respond. So from that interdisciplinary working group at the national society level, we start with the risk assessment that builds that foundation of knowledge. And then we move towards a separate step, which is step 2 and 3 on this screen. We will merge them together as one because they come as one. And this is basically a very big workshop, also with all these different departments in one room, thinking about how to integrate climate risks in these different areas of work. So through a screening methodology, we really think about what does good practice look like in this particular intervention or in this particular program? What does maladaptation look like? How are vulnerable groups disproportionately affected in this program by climate change? How do we need to take that into account? What are the opportunities to do so? And usually the answers flow naturally, but it's a very rich process that can lift and highlight a few things that are not necessarily taken into account into these different areas of work automatically. So having that system is like a way to integrate climate risks. Then in the middle, and it actually comes a little bit later in practice, but we have a multi-year climate strategy that positions that, that really defines who to work with, how to address climate in the country based on previous steps, but also based on the outcomes of community engagement processes. So usually we wait with the multi-year strategy also until we have the initial engagement at the community level, which is the next step. And the next step we have, so there are many different participatory risk assessment tools, and we have the enhanced vulnerability and capacity assessment tool within the Red Cross and Red Crescent. and we have the roadmap to resilience. So these two tools, we didn't want to invent new tools, but we've really identified, okay, what in these existing methods of participatory risk assessment at the community level do we need to tweak to get to locally led adaptation so that we don't do business as usual? And how do we really get to locally led adaptation and facilitate that process at the community level? So that is in my next slide, a few highlights on what we found there that we thought was really, really important. So this moves ultimately all the way to the right implementation of locally led adaptation and climate action. And if you have those insights from the community ground, what are their priorities? How would they choose? What are they choosing to prioritize and to implement? Then there's a big role for advocacy and policy dialogues, because that is ultimately really powerful to bring back into national adaptation discussions and to make sure that this can also scale. So what we found here are a couple of things that we found were important for that shift from disaster risk reduction to locally led adaptation. It started with the management of expectations within the communities. So of course, we could not fund things that have nothing to do with climate-related risks. So we put that up front. The vulnerability and capacity assessment that we use assesses all risks. And it's important to assess all risks for us. But up front, we communicated that certain risks could not be addressed with this funding because it was really LLA funding, and that we would need to find other channels to accommodate that and to advocate for funding. So if they would want to do traffic accidents or anything unrelated, we would need to park that for now and have a separate trajectory. Then, or geophysical risk for that matter. Now, the second thing was the strengthening of capacities. I already mentioned it a little bit in the climate action journey slide, but for us, it's different. So at headquarters, we have a lot of tools and methods and games to strengthen capacities within an organization. But at the community level, you need to talk about climate risks slightly different. You need to build on the risk perceptions that different groups have. So you need a very flexible way of talking about the climate crisis, in which you assess what their perceptions are, but also if there are any there are very often a lot of misunderstandings. So it's a way to really discuss this together and to invite a couple of experts from within the country who can help navigate that discussion with our colleagues on the ground. And we have a couple of flexible exercises, like on the left, we have a couple of cards that explain global warming, but at the same time, we want to build on that lived experience. And in that lived experience, we want to flag some plausible futures. And that's difficult, but it's building also on that national climate risk assessment. And it's talking through with them what those plausible futures could be because of climate change. So the third one is built on local community knowledge. This was already mentioned before as well, but it's embedding the cultural behaviors and the power relations. And it's really about hearing from different groups to think about these different perceptions and to bring that together. Then very often, we have a good participatory risk assessment tool within Red Cross in here. So there's hazard mapping, we have transect walks, seasonal calendars, all sorts of sub-tools that help us in these discussions with the communities to identify risk with them and to list them. But very often, if we do these things, we forget, even though we know now, but still to put the future lens in these discussions is something that is very often still forgotten. So in that process, we really focused on embedding that future lens in the discussions with the communities so that it would elicit some ideas about how you can address that from the communities themselves. And the last step, and this is more complicated than it normally is, but we really need to look at the outcomes of the climate risk assessments in conjunction with other partners in the country. And we need to, so there's a list of community solutions that they would like, but we really like to invite other stakeholders to think along about how that would impact other communities or groundwater levels or the region. So we bring in local experts, even from agriculture extension services or from ecosystem-based sectors. And it's really about talking this through together and making sure that we triangulate all the information that we have presented back, and then have brainstorm discussion on how we can turn that into sustainable options that can that are climate smart and that can withstand future shocks and stresses. Now, I already showed, I think I have to hurry up a little bit, but this is really trying to get from locally led to community based. I already showed a different ladder, but it's really bringing all the efforts down here on this slide to locally led, from locally implemented to managed to planned to owned, and to eventually locally led. Now, last one, some of the things that we found is that partnerships make all the difference. If we have communities equipped to run their own partnerships, we can help with brokering, but ultimately it's them in the future also making use of these connections to make their communities more climate resilient. So partnerships, what we've noticed, if we engage with a lot of actors, and especially local authorities and national authorities in the process, that this can also help with the scaling afterwards and reaching bigger and further. So now this is just for the discussion later. Not all design of adaptation needs to be happening locally. And here what I said previously, the communities may come up with solutions that are not necessarily climate smart, or that cannot necessarily understand record-breaking events that might be coming up. So what we say is that, yes, the solutions come from the community level, but then we have the additional step, talking with experts, bringing in local, regional, and national level experts to discuss the options and to bring the discussion back to the community so that they can decide based on the expertise that is brought into the discussions by others in the country. And then solutions proposed by vulnerable community groups are not always climate smart. That goes hand in hand, what I've just said. Sometimes they want a lot of water pumps, and that means in certain areas that the groundwater will only reduce further and might put more stress in the future on the community. So it's also about understanding how these things more technically will eventually result. And for us, it's about that level of sustainability, thinking of solutions that won't make it better on the short one and worse in the longer run. It's about that sustainability, that we really want to ensure we have solutions that can help them in the long run. And of course, if there are dire humanitarian needs, this is always a trade-off. If there are dire humanitarian needs, then we first need to address those, but then complemented with those interventions that can help them on the longer run. So that's the last point. That was my presentation. I had some more quotes, but I'll park here for now. Thank you so much. Over to you, Happy.
Thank you so much, Fleur, for your presentations. Very insightful. Yeah, we also have seen some participants post their questions to you. Yeah, like is possible, like how to handle VCA tools for more climate risk assessment, and if there's also project of the RCRC in Ghana, if there is a possibility for collaborations. And yeah, maybe you can respond on the chat or later during the Q&A. But yeah, again, thank you so much to emphasize the local adaptation solutions shall values the local knowledge and expertise of the local communities. And also to promote the equitable access of the local actors to power and resources, and that also highlighting that uh, knowledge co-creation is also important to share, to build common understanding around risk perceptions from the community risk perceptions, local risk perceptions, and also the how it also supported with the scientific informations as well, and that the locally led adaptation also needs share of expertise that might not be available at the community level, and there might be some technical expertise support needed to ensure that the solution is effective and prevent the maladaptations solutions, because sometimes that also happens that the maladaptations because we are not aware of the negative impact of the adaptations that we conducted or we implemented. Okay, so I will thank you so much, Fleur. We will have the Q&A later on, and for now, I will call the next speaker. We have Nikki Tapanas. So Nikki has 10 years experience in development and humanitarian sector. She is now the project manager at ECOWEB Philippines, responsible of managing the implementation of the green fiber project. The which is aimed to strengthen the resilience among Paka farming families through sustainable livelihood and transitioning to green technology. So Nikki, please share your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Hippie. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, everyone. I am Nikki Rosa Panas Laho, the Green Fiber Project Manager from ECOWEB, or the Ecosystems Work for Essential Benefits Incorporated. And it's an honor to join you today in this Local Leadership Academy webinar on developing the climate smart infrastructure at the local level. So today, I'll be sharing the insights from our ongoing initiative in Sibagat, Agusan del Sur, which is the Green Fiber Project that demonstrates how community-led renewable energy facilities can support both our climate resilience and inclusive local development. So before anything else, I would like to introduce to you about our organization, EcoWeb, or the Ecosystem Work for Essential Benefits Incorporated. It is actually a humanitarian and development organization working primarily in Mindanao, Philippines. No, our programs focus on building resilience, supporting communities to recover from the crisis while strengthening their adaptive capacities to climate change. And the Green Fiber Project is one of our flagship initiatives that integrates the renewable energy, livelihood development, and the local leadership. So our mission is to help communities recover and thrive in the face of crisis through climate adaptive, locally led solutions, and in which our green fiber project reflects this mission in practice. And we were actually established in 2006, a nonprofit non-stock organization, and a registered in Security Exchange Commission and a licensed social welfare development agency in the Philippines. And we have 5 core focus areas. First is the inclusive governance, sustainable institutions, the social cohesion, sustainable livelihoods, safe and resilient environments, and currently operating across 12 regions in the Philippines, serving the indigenous peoples, the women, the farmers, and the youth. And for now, we have this flagship approach on survivor and community-led response, or the SCLR, that is empowering our communities to lead their own recovery. And about the innovation, we always promote climate smart, nature-based, and Abaca-based social enterprises. Because we always believe in bridging the grassroots innovation with the policy to advance the locally led, inclusive, and sustainable development. So that is our the snapshot of our organization. So yes, about the Green Fiber Project at a glance, it actually stands on strengthening resilience among abaca farming families in Sibagat, Agusan del Sur, Philippines, no, through sustainable livelihoods and transitioning to green technology or the Green Fiber Project. This is actually a 3.5-year project that is currently implemented commencing last November 2022 and targeted to be completed by April 2026, that is next year. So this project covers 15 out of the 24 barangays in the municipality of Sibagat, Agusan del Sur, in the region of Caraga, Philippines. And out of these 15 barangays, 10 of these barangays are within, no, the ancestral domain of CADTI 093, and one in another ancestral domain, which is the CADTI 271, and the remaining barangays are outside the ancestral domain. So it's not just focusing on the farmers, but also giving importance to prioritization to our indigenous communities. So this resiliency project actually intends to strengthen the local capacity of our community that are engaged in agriculture, no, particularly in the abaca industry or the Manila hemp. No, abaca is grown for its strong fiber. Its quality is based on high tensile strength, which makes it very competitive among the natural fibers. And currently, the Caraga region contributes 10.08% of the total abaca production in the Philippines, making it one of the leading abaca producing regions, no, in the country. So yes, as I mentioned before, it also helps, no, the farmers, either an indigenous people or a non-indigenous people, no, in the target barangays to manage their land resources for food sufficiency, enhance their abaca production, and produce a greener fiber, which will be marketed through a replicable model of social enterprise. No, this is through improved cultivation methods, through climate smart farming, that will not only result in higher yields, but also produce a good fiber quality, but also produce a positive effects on disaster risk reduction. So this is implemented in partnership with the local government of Sibagat, the national government agencies, and other private groups, and not the last but not the least, our community abaca production guilds. So this project actually has four project components that is also connected to four project target outputs, no, which are the farm development and fiber production component, the social enterprise development component, the renewable energy-based fiber processing component, the partnership, advocacy, and promotion component. So that is yeah, so in this project we actually introduced the renewable energy technology, supported the farmer cooperatives, and linked the communities to better markets, and demonstrating that climate smart infrastructure can be both socially inclusive and economically viable. So that's the green fiber at a glance. Now why climate smart infrastructure? In this project, abaca fiber processing is a vital source of income for our farmers in Sibagat, no, recognized as the one town, one product of the municipality. However, the industry faces recurring disruptions due to climate-induced hazards and energy constraints. The traditional processing facilities rely on the diesel-powered machines, which are not only costly to operate but also environmentally unsustainable. So these challenges are compounded by the frequent power outages in rural Mindanao, and often triggered by typhoons, heavy rains, and even now the earthquakes, no, that we are currently experiencing, and there were a lot of aftershocks actually happening. And each time extreme weather events strike, abaca operations come to a halt, preventing our farmers from extracting, drying or processing the fibers, no, and leading to significant income loss. So recognizing these realities, the Green Fiber Project introduced this renewable energy powered abaca processing and drying facilities as a climate smart solution. So these solar-powered systems ensure that continuity of operations, even during power interruptions, also reduce carbon emissions and promote sustainable and inclusive local enterprise. So the goal is to create an infrastructure that can withstand climate shocks, function off-grid, and remain community-owned and managed, no? Paving the way for long-term resilience and economic empowerment. So because this is also relevant, no, why we promote climate smart infrastructure in promoting sustainable livelihood, because it safeguards, no, our livelihoods, no, because we believe that majority of the livelihoods nowadays remain vulnerable to the growing threats of climate change and disaster. So strengthening this aspect also equip the capacity of our communities with the tools and the knowledge to protect their livelihoods from the disruption caused, no, by these extreme events. And second, it also enhanced the sustainability of the efforts started in our within our community, and integrating this measure into disaster risk reduction, no, to ensure sustained productivity and stability even in times of crisis. So yeah, because we believe that sustainable development requires not only environmental responsibility, but also preparedness and resilience to withstand and recover from disasters. And lastly, this promotes, no, community empowerment and adaptation. So by empowering our local community and other community-based organization, no, this project foster self-sufficiency and local ownership, no, and that empowers them, that strengthens their community resilience and supports a broader goal of inclusive and sustainable development. So that's one of our the reason behind why we are promoting a climate smart infrastructure. So this is actually the renewable energy based facilities of the Green Fiber project. So under the Green Fiber project, ECOWEB established two renewable energy powered facilities, one for the abaca fiber processing and one for the solar drying, no, facility. So these facilities run on solar energy, ensuring continuous operations even during power interruptions. And at the end of the project and with the completion of the transition period, these renewable energy facilities will be community owned and managed, but still with guidance and mentoring and technical support by ECOWEB and the local government unit of Sibagat, meaning the cooperatives still have the full control over daily operations, the maintenance and revenue. So this setup actually reduces the operational cost and minimizes the carbon emissions and allows for productivity even during extreme weather events, which is a major step toward climate resilience.
Sorry, Nikki, can you wrap up in
Okay.
5 minutes?
Yes. Okay. And what makes this infrastructure more meaningful is its inclusivity, which is another important feature of the green fiber facilities, which we ensure that these facilities create jobs for vulnerable groups, and including the women, the LGBTQ plus members, and persons with disabilities. So beyond employment, ECOWEB also conducted capacity enhancement sessions on cooperative governance, the technical maintenance, and business management. So by placing management in the hands of the local cooperatives, we fostered a sense of ownership, where people don't just work in these facilities. Instead, they lead and make decisions that shape their community's economic future. In terms of the local impact, the impact has been very encouraging. No, first, the production efficiency and fiber quality have improved significantly. Farmers can now process more abaca faster with less waste. And second, stable income. No, because of better quality and collective marketing, they are earning better prices for their fiber. And third, the operational savings. No, solar energy eliminated fuel dependency, reducing costs and emissions. And finally, the project strengthened the production guilds and the cooperative governance, in which the members now meet regularly, plan collectively, and handle the finances transparently. So these results show that when communities own a climate-smart infrastructure, they gain not just the technology, but the dignity, the capacity, and the resilience. So those two facilities in Sibagat now serve as demonstration hubs for the climate smart community-led infrastructure. So it serves as a model for scaling climate smart and community-led infrastructure, shared learning with the LGUs, the farmers groups, to other national government agencies and other private stakeholders, and also has a potential replication in other Mindanao farming communities. So for now, local governments and development partners have visited these sites to learn and how renewable energy and cooperative management can work together. And we are now actually exploring replication opportunities in other farming communities, not only for abaca fiber, but also for other abaca value added products. So the model proved that small-scale renewable energy-powered facilities can be practical and scalable, provided that communities are truly in the driver's seat. So in terms of the lessons, we actually have learned several key lessons and insights along the way. First is community ownership ensures sustainability. When people see the infrastructure as theirs, they take care of it, manage it better, and sustain it beyond the project timelines. And second, renewable energy isn't just about environmental benefits. No, it also improves the productivity and reduces the cost. Third, inclusivity matters. Engaging the women, the youth, and persons with disabilities build stronger and more resilient management structures. And lastly, partnerships make scaling possible. So the success of the Green Fiber project relied on collaboration among ECOWEB, the LGU, the national government agencies, the other NGOs, private sectors, the production guilds, no, including our funding partners. So this lessons guide us as we move toward broader application of the climate smart, community-driven infrastructures across Mindanao. And to moving forward, EcoWeb and our partners plan to further strengthen the cooperative governance, ensuring that the members can independently manage the operations, market their own products, and access financing. No? And we also aim to promote the expansion of renewable energy use and transitioning to a greener technology in other agricultural enterprises such as solar powered and waving centers and drying facilities for other crops. And finally, we are advocating for local investment in climate smart infrastructure. So we are actually continuously encouraging our partner LGUs and other national government agencies to integrate these models into their local climate adaptation and development plans. So in short, our goal is to make a climate smart community owned infrastructure a norm and not just a pilot project. So I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention. So through the Green Fiber Project, we've seen how communities can take the lead in addressing the climate and development challenges when given the right tools, trust, and partnerships. So if you want to learn more or collaborate, please reach out to us at EcoWeb. Maraming salamat, and we may all continue building communities that thrive despite the climate challenges ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you so much for the presentations. And yeah, I will call the next presenter, Nanda. Uh, Nanda will share about smart mist irrigations with rainwater harvesting. Nanda is the Information and Communications Coordinator at YAKKUM Emergency Unit, focusing on inclusive DRR and emergency response as well as climate adaptations. And through media and storytelling, Nanda amplifies community voice and ensure at-risk groups are at the center of disaster and climate response. Nanda, the time is yours.
Okay, so I would like to share about the smart mist irrigation rainwater harvesting system. But before we start, I would like to explain a little bit about our organization. So YAKKUM Emergency Unit is a humanitarian organization under the Christian Foundation for Public Health. So since 2001, YEU has been working with communities in Indonesia in emergency response, community-based disaster risk reduction, and climate change adaptation. So today we're going to talk about how can a smallholder farmers adapt to climate change while saving waters and improving harvest. So this is the story about the farmer groups in Gunung Kidul, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. So the background, Gunung Kidul is known for its unique karst geography, where the limestone terrain makes the water absorption low, so make the area prone to drought. And especially it is during the dry seasons. And most of the populations in Gunung Kidul relies on agriculture for their livelihood. So the water availability is extremely critical. And the majorities of the land relies on the rainfall. So majorities of the household there will have the rainwater, like they collect the rainwater because it is their only water resource. And majorities of the farmers are older people, so making it difficult for them as it is the geographical challenges, the hills. It's difficult for them to find the water through the farming land. So the innovation is called smart mist irrigation with the rainwater harvesting system. You can see from the video here, it's the irrigation with rainwater harvesting system that the technology designed to improve water efficiency in agriculture, especially in area with limited water availability. So the system works by spraying water in the form of the fine particles or the mist using the Internet of Things. You can see from the pictures here. So the rainwater harvesting system are located on the top of the hills. It's a height about 21 kilometers. And it connects the pipes here to the farming land area where the smart mist irrigation. It doesn't use any machine or water pump, so it's blown through the gravity. So this is the component of the rainwater. So there is a roof, the collections roof. So it decides to directly capture the rainwater, and there is a water channels where the rainwater can go inside to the water reservoirs here. And you can see from the video, there are 6 water storage tanks that a total storage capacity is about 34 to 100 liters. And it goes through the farming land, through the pipes. So there are the main pipes, and then we'll flow the water into the secondary pipes here, you can see, and also the sprinkles to get all the waters in the form of mist or fine particles. And this is the component of Internet of Things. There's IoT panels, which has 2 panels here, the electricity panels and the microcontroller as the brain of the systems. And the system is controlled by the website where the farmer can plan when when to water the farmland. So here are the monitoring website will look like. And there are 2 soil moisture sensors put on the farmland. So this give the data of the soil moistures that can be tracked to monitoring website. And there are solar panels here, about 4 cells. And this is the automated valves that can be opened and closed when is the time for watering the farmland. So this is the 12-month progress. So at first, we have the feasibility studies that is done by the University of Gajah Mada in Yogyakarta. They are having the study about the soil conditions, about the water availability, about the economic potential, including what plants are suitable for that area, in the area, and the economic potential of that plant, and also the challenge and recommendations. And after that, you can see from the videos that this is carried manually by the farmers. There's no other ways or roads, so they have to carry it manually, all the things or the stuff, the bigger water reservoirs to the top of the hills. And after that, there's the process of planting the seedling in March 2021. At the same time, they also test the systems, and the first harvests are in May 2025. And this is the impact. So these innovations built through participatory design, where the farmers and also the engineers are working together. So this is the collaboration between 2 farmer groups, that Mudi Mulyo farmer groups, that at first, the first farmer groups actually in the different villages that develop the innovations, and now they become the mentor to this farmer groups. The total of farmers that benefit from the innovation are 150 farmers, which 100% of them improve their well-being, but it is in group income, not yet as an individual household. And also the impact is a change of the farmers' perception of the water. Before this, they could only cultivate during the rainy seasons. So the land like idle during the dry months. However, after this, their perceptions become like the water become accessible year round. It means that they can farm also during the dry seasons. So the water is manageable and renewable asset they can control, not only depends on the nature, and they become the co-designers and decision makers. And also in terms of developing the system, it strengthens the knowledge of them in terms of IoT and water management. So now the chili harvesting done every week for the 15 times total harvesting, they have been getting more than 1,000 kilograms of chili. So also another systemic impact. So these initiatives spark interest from other villages and also agricultural agency that want to replicate the system. So this innovation has drawn attention from the university. There are several visits of the university to this area where they want to learn about how the system works and how to manage that. There's an official visit from Department of Agriculture and Food, and also there's a local televisions, and also there's other NGOs, Plan Internationals from East Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. They come and learn because they have the same condition where in their area is also limited of water, where they depends of rainfall. So for the sustainability and the future, like Fleur say that it needs to be think how the locally led can be sustained. So it is become the plan in a village development plan where they will manage the contribution for operation and maintenance, and also the farmer, the roots contribute also for the maintenance of the systems. Several of the fund will the money will be for the operation and the maintenance. If later on it has the system are broke or there's some error on that. And also in Musrembang, it's the government commitment. It will have the proposal for replications, and it will have the standardized for the replication packages, the IoT, the rainwater harvestings for 0.5 hectares. So, oh yeah, also the farmer land area is about 500 meters square meters. And also it's attracted replication interest from other villages, CSR, and the village development plan. Here is the video. You can scan here or find in our YouTube, YAKKUM Emergency Unit. It also has English subtitles. We call a smart mist irrigation atau irigasi kabut cerdas dengan sistem pemanen air hujan. You can send it or click on the link here. The smart mist irrigation is more than technology. It's a community-led climate solution, save water, improve livelihood, and strengthen the resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nanda. And maybe you can also post the video link in the chat as well so that people can follow through. Okay, the next speaker is from Nasiruddin from Islamic Relief Bangladesh that will share on community-led latrine for waterlogged areas. Nasiruddin is serving as the program manager, the climate change adaptations and disaster resilience at Islamic Relief Bangladesh, with more than 20 years of experience in the field of humanitarian response, climate and disaster risk management. He has been leading climate adaptive innovation project in Bangladesh, as well as led the process of climate adaptive early recovery in the Philippines after the Typhoon Yolanda. Yeah, he has been representing his organization at different national, international forum and platform. And yeah, so let's have Nasiruddin to share his practices.
Thank you, Happy. And Assalamu alaikum to all. Good morning, afternoon, good noon, and evening to all. We are here to present one of our innovative works on climate smart latrine solutions for waterlogging affected areas in Bangladesh. It is in southwestern part of
Mr.
the country. Yeah.
So just a moment, because I think the interpretation is crossing. In the English channel, we are also hearing the Spanish interpretation. Maybe the interpreter can please check.
Okay.
All right, Alejandra. Can you just say something if I can hear on this English channel? Okay. Thanks, Alejandra. I think let's see now. Thanks. Sir, please proceed.
Yeah. Okay. As I was mentioning, it is a solution for the people who are suffering from waterlogging in the southwestern part of Bangladesh. And the entire initiative is actually following the LLA principle led by the community and actually implemented by themselves. We are facilitating the process with little technical know-how from our side and engaging with them with the public service providers and locally available private sector initiatives. It is a part of IRUSA funded project, and the project itself known as ICRA shortly. It has a quite long title. In a nutshell, if I give you a brief on the innovation, actually the design of the latrine, which is actually quite unique in Bangladesh perspective, because earlier as a solution for similar situation in the flood prone zone, we are using double chamber latrines. But in this particular area in the southwestern part of Bangladesh, that solution didn't work properly because of the nature of the hazard. Then the community people actually come together to find a better and plausible solutions for themselves. And accordingly, they found that a new technique can be a better option for them, which will work. And in the beginning, they do little piloting, and then based on that of piloting, they went for larger implementation. In this model, they used a PVC pipe. It is 4 inches dia, and with a gate valve to control the flow of the waste, and then they connect with 2 tanks. One is a regular pit, and another is actually raised pit or tank just beneath the basin. So with that, this solution was developed. They also used recycled rubber sheet for their fencing and roof, which is quite water resistant and durable. This latrine model worked really well, and the family members of the right holders who are directly engaged with the project, they found it really worthy to invest from their side. That's why, as a co-financing model, they come forward to go for wider replication of the model in that area. And as a result of the model replication, we found that the waterborne diseases reduced drastically in this area, and the community also felt empowered. So does their own decision, own design, and their own management worked really well, because they were supported with lots of initiatives since ever this problem arose in this area almost 3-4 decades ago. So this is how actually this LLA initiative contributed to overall empowerment and providing a solution to their dire need. In these photos, we can see the process, the way it was developed. So the community people, they decide where the toilet will be situated and how it will be built according to their own need. And the family members also contribute in decision making to make it affordable to their end, and for ensuring each and every family member's contribution to match with the support from the project. These are the finished one, and you can see according to their own need, they develop the infrastructure. Where needed, they also put support for the person with disability or pregnant women. So it is completely need-based to keep the cost within their own limit. This is the design developed by the community, actually proposed by community, designed by the engineer to support them. So this is how actually the model works. They put four types of toilet there. One is 2 feet chamber, one is 3 feet, one is 4 feet, and one is 5 feet. So it is not one size fits all. So according to their water logging and level of water and situation of the raised plinth of the house, they just customized it according to their need. And the design also came up with the costing, detailed costing, and the idea of what amount the family need to contribute for this installation. So all these are determined by the community people, and they also consider their own affordability, the resources available in the community, and the durability of all those resources. The design is same, so I'm not repeating. These are different sizes, just considering the water level they are going to face. There are challenges as well because of co-financing part. You must say that they need to co-finance from 8,000 to almost 11,000 or more. So not necessarily all the family members, all the rights holders are able to match the fund from their own end all the time very quickly. So sometimes it took little time to make the money arrangement, and but they took the time, and they also communicate with their own cooperative, which is they are a part of. So accordingly they actually manage that money part, but that is also an empowerment process because they build their own confidence that they can actually do it in a better manner than fully supported by someone else. So they can implement their own idea and their own design with their own effort, partially supported by someone. Another technical challenge was there, that is the proper technical person to support the construction process. So it is a small installation in individual household. So getting a mason, qualified mason who understands all the technical aspects of the infrastructure, that was not that easy. So that also gave them little stress, but somehow motivating the available machines in the area, they could overcome that problem. Maintaining continuation of works was also a challenge because sometimes in the middle of the construction, there are sudden waterlogging happening. So they had to be mindful about all these things. One of the major limitations is the low support from the project, which was actually to support their own capacity building. But at the same time, we realized that if we could make it more, then the design and other things could be more effective for the communities. And in the decision making in the respective area, it was not easier for them because there are technicalities related to that decision. So the technical person, especially the architectural engineer and others, they talk to them and make it simple statement for their better understanding. So this is how actually all the thing worked. And this is how actually these people did a lot of works in their area. Beyond this latrine solution, they also established this type of staircases to ease the mobility problem and connectivity problem in the area. They also established rainwater harvester. So all these initiatives, infrastructural solutions actually to ease their everyday challenges from climate change and erratic rainfall or infrastructural intervention, artificial issues, which was exacerbating the climate change impact in this area. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nasir, for sharing your practices. Now we will hear from Mujtaba Muhib from CWS Asia on increasing underground water retention. Mujtaba Muhib serves as the project manager of DRR at the Community World Service Asia, where he leads the design and implementations of resilience and climate adaptations project across central and western Afghanistan. With extensive experience in community-based DRR, humanitarian response, monitoring evaluations, he has managed several initiatives funded by different international donors. So, yeah, without further ado, Mujtaba, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Happy. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this webinar. This is Mujtaba Mohib, and first of all, I want to explain regarding Community World Service Asia. Community World Service Asia is a humanitarian organization and headquartered in Karachi, Pakistan, and working throughout Pakistan and Afghanistan. So in Afghanistan, we are implementing the DRR projects. So with the support of CWS and GPF. Today, I want to discuss and share our information and knowledge and the practice that we have regarding the increasing the underground water retention, also building climate resilience in Afghanistan. So as you see here in these two pictures, it shows the current situation of Afghanistan due to the drought. It is repeated droughts and excessive water use in the districts of Afghanistan, depleted groundwater levels causing wells to dry up and the land to develop cracks. So this is the situation. The key challenges that we have in our practice and the key challenge which exists in Afghanistan, so that is the geographical vulnerability, like if we say in Bamiyan province of Afghanistan, currently the situation is like this, that here is too much drought considering the, compared to the last years. So here is irregular rainfall and drought. Here is seasonal water shortage. Here is reduced agricultural productivity and increased stress on farming and rural livelihood. So risk of migration due to the lack of water, depleted groundwater level, also dependence on snowmelt and rainfall, and risk of landslide and floods. These are the challenges that currently the communities that we are implementing our initiatives, they face, and unfortunately it is increasing every year. Our approach, so regarding implementing the DRR initiatives in Afghanistan, particularly in Bamiyan province of Afghanistan, so it is natural based, low cost, and long-term resilience. Our approach focuses on the promoting sustainable water management by integrating watershed management, practicing and constructing the check dams. So we prioritize the community-led planning and participation, ensuring that local needs and traditional knowledge are reflected in the design and implementation in our approach that currently we are implementing here. So regarding the project, as mentioned earlier as well, this is the sample of one of our project that we have implemented last year under CWS and GPF funded project. Our component was watershed management, check dam and gabute wall construction through the cash for work program. Our target was in Bamiyan province of Afghanistan. So you see that here that we have made. Okay. That we have made here. Here is the water management. Here is the gabion wall that locally community people have made this. So regarding the advantage of watershed management and check dams that we are implementing these initiatives, cause that reduce seasonal water scarcity, mitigates drought impacts, and build resilience against irregular rainfall and dry spells. Next, increases vegetation cover, improves the local microclimate, and acts as a natural base solution for the climate adaptation. Reduces flood risks by slowing down surface runoff and stabilizing slopes to reduce landslide risks. Also improves food security, increase household income, and creates local employment during the construction and maintenance. Apart from this, it strengthens community participation, ownership, and promotes sustainable use of the natural resources. Why underground water retention? So, as you see in this picture, this is a view of a check dam constructed in one of the village of YAKKUM districts of Bamiyan province in Afghanistan. So, why underground water retention? Because it stores excessive rain and flood water underground. It ensures long-term water security for the irrigation, drinking, and livestock. So reduce evaporation losses, supports agriculture during the dry spells. It maintains soil moisture and support vegetation cover and pastures. Also, it is strengthening community resilience to the climate change. Also, if you see here the photo of the women who are they are working in this project, they have worked as laborers or as a cash for work. They have waved the gabions, first of all, for our gabion wall and protection wall. So first of all, the women, they are waving these gabions, as you see the picture here. Then there are the male laborers that they are making these gabion walls that I've already showed you. So the project are developed through the participatory planning with the communities actively involved in the site selection and design to ensure local relevance, emphasize in blast or using locally available materials and labors to promote sustainability and community ownership. Women have also played a significant role by weaving gabion boxes, contributing board skills and strength to the project success. Also, as you see, this is the practical work, and this is what that women they are weaving gabion, and this picture was taken during that time, and it shows that women engagement in gabion weaving process, capacity building for maintenance and sustainability. Also, the result and impacts of this project. First, increase the underground water recharge, reliable irrigation water, supporting improved crops production, reduce soil erosion, land degradation, and flood risks, green cover, regeneration, households have better access to drinking water, women and children spend less time fetching water, reduce migration and conflict due to the improved livelihoods, and strengthens local ownership and community participation through these initiatives. This is another impact. As you see, here is two mountains, and before the watershed management, and here is after the implementation of the water management schemes in the area that significantly increase the water ground, and you see that plants are already here growing. And above picture shows that laborers, they are working and digging the watershed. This is also the impact that, as you see, before the implementation and after the implementation of the project, before the construction of the check dam, then after the check dam and increased groundwater recharge, improved the irrigation, reduced soil erosion, and strengthened community resilience against drought and flood. Also, this is the project outcomes from the previous project initiatives. 100% of the targeted communities reported reduced immediate risk disaster, flood, landslide. Second one, 90% of the targeted household reported improved access to the basic needs like food, medicine, etc. Third one, 100% of the targeted household reported being able to meet their urgent household expenses like food, healthcare, shelter through the cash for work initiatives. Fourth, 50% of the community disaster preparedness plans completed that we had initially 15 villages, and in all villages the community disaster preparedness plans completed under this project. So fifth, 1,000 community people, 50% men and 50% women, trained on DRR awareness. As you know, in Afghanistan, most of the people, they are illiterate, so they do not know how to be resilient against disaster in Afghanistan. So by having or conducting this awareness for 1,000 community people, they improved and they trained how to protect themselves against the disaster happens in their villages and communities. Sixth, conducted 80 DRR awareness training sessions. It was like half day training and half day follow up after 2 months or after 1 month, that to make sure the participants, they are well aware of the DRR awareness, and they can save or protect themselves, also their family members, from the flood, from the other kind of disaster happens in their communities. So 80% of the attendants demonstrated improved knowledge. When we had pre-test and post-test, means that people, they understood regarding the knowledge, and means that before they did not know regarding the DRR knowledge and they did not have information. Then we conducted awareness session to them, and after the implementation of the project and activities, their awareness increased and they are now so resilient. Also, this is the impact case story from one of our project participants who is a farmer. He says that before the check dam and watershed rains, our well often ran dry in summer. Irrigation water was scarce. Our crops suffered, and families struggled to feed livestock. Since the community-led water retention projects began, groundwater has risen, my irrigation channels flow reliably, and I can farm without fear to shortage. My children spend less time fetching water, and these small infrastructures built with our own stones and hands and have brought us both better harvest and hope for the future. So it is also the impact of the project and the voice of the community and the story of the project participants after the implementation of the project. So this is the resilience outcomes. After implementing these initiatives, enhanced climate adaptation through the improved water security, reduced disaster risk, including the flood and drought impacts, strengthened food security and rural livelihood, reduced the migration pressure by supporting sustainable livelihood, built greater resilience to drought and climate shocks, also supported mitigation of global warming. Apart from this, aligned with national and global climate resilience framework like SDG and also NEP that you see here, that clean water and sanitation, climate action, and life on land. So the key lesson learned for the implemented project was locally led approach ensure long-term sustainability, low-cost, scalable infrastructure modules provide lasting climate smart solutions, strong community participations, building enduring resilience, combining traditional knowledge with modern techniques enhance the effectiveness. That thank you so much from CWS and GBF. They have supported us a lot in this regard with the good techniques and modern techniques that they have. We have applied those techniques and methods, modern techniques that they have in Afghanistan as well. A small-scale decentralized approach are most effective in fragile and remote environments. And thank you so much. If there is any question.
Thank you so much, Mustafa. Yeah, now, I think there are also some questions for you in the chat. If you can also have a look on it. And meanwhile, I will request the last speaker, Sochitsu, to share on solar energy solutions for resilient livelihood. Sochit is the executive director of Live and Learn Cambodia, and an organization that is providing proper innovative solutions for community development and people living in the most challenging environment. Sochit has more than 17 years in community development, particularly in local governance, gender, livelihood improvement, economic empowerment of rural communities, food security, environment, natural resource management, biodiversity, and climate change, and DRR works. Okay, Sochit, yes. Would you be able to present yourself, or you want me to present your presentations?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
I will show the slide from my site.
Great, yes.
I'm sorry that I cannot run my video camera from
No
here.
problem, we can see your picture.
I have a problem with the camera. I suppose it is broken. So, hi everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening for people around the world. Thank you for having me to join in this learning academy. It is an opportunity that I can share from what we are doing on the ground in Cambodia regarding climate resilient or climate smart infrastructures at the local levels. So I just would like to share with you this is the contents of my presentations. I don't think that I will take a long time. And before starting the area or what we do in the community regarding the infrastructure, climate change, resilience, technologies, just to give you a snapshot about us, we are a local NGO. We start our work in 2004 and formally registered with the governments in 2005. So our vision is for Cambodia where people, including most vulnerable, live in a sustainable and equitable society. And our mission is to empower communities through capacity development and collective action to achieve environmental sustainability, social equities, and empower well-beings. So what we do here, it's 20 years now. We have been working quite a lot on nature-based solutions for climate resilience. We have quite many projects on local and equitable social economy and low carbon developments. And we're also working a lot on climate resilient wash and nutrition. We have a couple of work in different provinces across Cambodia. And these are the projects or interventions that we are doing now. On the nature-based solution for climate resilience, we work on community-led flood forest restorations. And we also support we call community-based natural resource management. Sorry for the spelling. And on the local and equitable social economy and low carbon development, we work quite a lot on livelihood, especially we focus on climate smart and productive agriculture in rural and remote community. And we work supporting climate smart infrastructures for supporting agriculture and livelihood, which I will be presenting in more details in a few moments. And the last topic, last interventions that we work is about community health, focusing on wash and nutrition. So to support climate resilience, we need a mixture of infrastructures and technologies which has aligned with geography and context of the climate challenge. In Cambodia, most people living in rural area and their livelihood is depending on agriculture. Heat and water and energy are the main challenge in rural and remote communities in Cambodia. So these presentations, I will share with you about several technologies and infrastructures that we support and develop and build to support community resilience in rural communities with the leadership of communities themselves. So you can see on the slide, there are quite many solar technology that we support and we developed and also installed. I'm going to provide you in more detail one by one technologies and infrastructures that we have. We work quite a lot at the community levels. I think the first technology that we support is focusing on small scale technologies. So we support local farmers who have difficulty access to water, especially women and children who have difficulty to access to water around their communities. So we support quite small solar pump for home gardening activity and getting water for their own domestic consumptions at the community level. On the other options, we also work and support farmer providing a technology utilizations that can generate biogas. We call biogas biodigester system, which people can easily manage on their own, and also having access to biogas for their cooking, and the slurry getting out from the biogas tanks, it's used for agriculture. Agriculture in using the fertilizer for agriculture or their own crops. The next solutions, we provide community at village levels, rural water supply facilities. So as you can see in these pictures, this facility can support around one village community, which is around from 100 to 200 households. They can supply water to households at their doorsteps around the clock during 24 hours. So community has been very happy. They got water at their home without spending much time to go to the river or to pump the water by their own. which we believe that there is a lot of reductions of burden for women and children to carry the water from the water source to their home for their domestic consumptions and also for home gardening, and also provide quite a lot of opportunity to improve health well-being of the community people in the communities. So we developed such the systems in two different design. One design is for surface water and another one for underground water. So it has been very impactful for the community, especially for those who have access to who have difficult access to water source and also to electricity from the grid. Another solutions that we provide, we call it solar pump for rice irrigations. This is quite a big or medium size of the solar panel or solar farms that can be used to pump quite a large amount of water to support rice irrigations during the dry seasons. So as you can see, mostly we design the systems which is needs and required by the community and address the challenge of the climate change. Other alternative solutions for agriculture infrastructures, we also develop the support with the water canals or reservoir, improve the reservoir constructions to support agriculture activity. We also develop and work on providing the net house solar pump for agriculture, small scale agricultures. When we also deploy some other climate resilient, climate smart practices and technology, as well as infrastructures in different ways in the communities. You can see on the pictures on the right side, the one on the left, which is called raised bed, which is practically used in most community in rural Cambodia. And then we transfer and develop a more advanced raising beds on, as you can see in the on the right side of these presentations. So this will help to build the resilience that can allow people to crop their own vegetables during the dry season and also during the wet seasons. Just to remind, Cambodia, we have only two seasons. One season is called dry season and another one is called wet seasons or rainy season. And last technology that we work and we support is the solar mini grid. Solar mini grid is very important for especially people who has no access to energy and those people who are living far remote and isolated communities. So these mini grids can serve community livelihood, educations, and small business in the village. People can access to lighting, people can access to informations and entertainments, and they can also do farming activities and run local business at the rural level. So through this solar mini grid effort, we supported 6 solar mini grids in rural communities. And these systems are operated by community, we call it community operator or community-owned renewable energy projects. And we built a lot of capacity for those people to be able to operate and run the system. So there are variations of the capacity of the solar mini grids. It depending on the needs and requirement of the community for the energy access for their livelihood. Even you have seen quite a lot I just want to stress it again. One single technology or infrastructure does not have to improve the resilience. Even it contribute to the improvement of to strengthen the resilience of the community in rural area. But I would recommend that there should be a mixture of technology, infrastructures, and solutions. Despite the supports, we also have a lot of challenge. The first challenge is the legal requirement of the local government or the government of Cambodia, particularly on solar mini-grid like this. They say it might affect on the national plan as well as the standard of the grid systems. Therefore, they require quite a lot of compliance, and we need to request for authorized approval to install the system. And at the community level, this is a main problem. Another one, which is skill and the capacity of those people, especially operator of the system, particularly on infrastructure engineering and electrical engineering. It is very hard, even ourselves as a local NGO, we find ourselves very hard to get a local engineer on electrical and construction engineers to build such kind of the system. So every time we work, we need to get contracted with suppliers or contractors to support our system development. And it is very difficult if the community had got very poor knowledge about the engineering perspective, especially on electrical engineering, to allow them to proper manage, operate, and maintain the system of as the whole. Another one we have challenge in Cambodia, probably also in all the in other underdeveloped countries. The product or the technology quality remain questions. So we quite really concerned. We have an idea. We know what can be useful, but the technology at some point would not fit with our demands and does not last a long time. And the last one is the time. Time is a big requirement, which we need to ensure the smooth transitions and adoptions of those technology in infrastructures. So it required a lot of support. And in fact, our projects mostly are on a short-term basis. So all of these limitations, it is hard to ensure sustainability and to make sure that it will be operated for long term. So that's all for my presentations. I just want to acknowledge our donors. We have quite a number of donors working, supporting on several projects in Cambodia. So thank you.
so much,
If you have any
Hippie.
questions, just feel free. Happy.
Yes,
Over
yes,
to you.
thank you. And with that, I think yeah, we will come to the end of the webinar, and I request Ipsita to share the conclusions of today's sessions. Ipsita.
Thank you, Happy. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well. Yeah, okay, great. So thank you so much. So I want to thank Flor, I want to thank Nikki, Nanda, Nasiruddin, Mujtaba, and Sochit. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentations that you all have shared and about the work that you all are doing. It is really, truly inspiring to learn from the work that you're doing and the impact that your work is creating with communities on the front line. I also wanted to thank the participants for being engaged throughout and for asking questions and also sharing, I think, examples with each other of being able to work to increase our knowledge with each other. So I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. I think today's webinar has kind of really brought out the importance of locally led, locally owned, and locally implemented solutions we may start with trying to address something like a basic amenity around food and water, around water and sanitation, and even maybe food supply. But in the long term, we also find that these are solutions that also kind of help in terms of building the resilience of communities and also specifically more vulnerable groups and women and children as well. Of course, what we learned is that a lot of these locally led solutions are low cost and therefore easily adaptable and adoptable at the community level. They also take into account the fact of the unique context of the community for which they are being developed. So there is a lot of power in that. And the fact that community participation and ownership really goes a long way in terms of ensuring the sustainability of such solutions in communities. So, and I think we also learned wonderful examples of combining traditional knowledge with modern technology, and to how we can bring about a solution that works for everyone and works specific to the context. That said, I think there is also a learning here for many of us who are national, regional, and global actors that when we are saying locally led, locally owned, and locally implemented, it does not mean that we shift the responsibility to local actors alone, but the fact that we also have a role to be able to support and facilitate, local communities and local actors by providing the relevant resources, by providing the relevant expertise, the technology, and sometimes even perspective to be able to bring in a solution that is sustainable and long-term viable. So yes, with that, I end today, and thank all of you once again. Thank you so much. And thank you, Happy, as well. And I think this has been a wonderful webinar. Thank you to the interpreters and Abdullah for all your support. Thank you very much.